Hello, hello, hello. You did everything right. You went to school, got the degree, got the job, and started the 401k. And you're still sitting here right now watching this because deep down you know the math isn't mathing. You followed every rule they gave you, and you're still not where you thought you'd be by now. And that's not because you failed, it's because the rule book was written by people who profit when you follow it. Tonight, I'm breaking down the three biggest money myths that are keeping you stuck and what to do instead. So stay with me until the end. What's up, wealth builders? Welcome to Wealth Builder Wednesdays. I'm Jael Thomas. Every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m., we get into the real conversations about money, investing, and building wealth that nobody had told us growing up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss these episodes. If you're watching the replay, drop a comment and let me know where you're tuning in from. Tonight, we're talking about the three money myths that keep people broke, busy, and confused. These are the lies we were told that sound smart, but keep us stuck. And I know because I believed every single one of them. So let's get right into it. Myth number one: go to school, get a job, and you'll be set. So let me be real with y'all. This first myth is personal for me. Growing up, I heard the same thing that most of us heard: to go to school, to get the great job, and I'll be fine. That's the playbook, right? That's what everybody has told us. So I tried. But I'm going to be honest, I don't love school and I didn't want to go. But I went anyway because that's what you're supposed to do. And I didn't graduate, even though I tried. It just wasn't for me. And when I looked around, I felt like I was already behind because everybody I grew up with seemed like they had it all figured out. People on social media definitely look like they had it figured out. And here I am with no degree trying to figure out what's next for me. So I did what a lot of us do. I tried to start businesses. I tried this, I tried that, but nothing stuck. And every time something didn't work, that voice in the back of my head got louder. See, you should have stayed in school. You should have done it the traditional way. But that's until I found real estate. And even that didn't work right away. It does nothing like HGTV. It is nothing like selling sunset. It took tenacity. It took grit. It took me going all in and giving it everything that I have because I learned something that nobody tells us. It doesn't matter what the thing is. If you're not going all in, it's never going to work. Whether that's school, whether that's running your own business, whether that's investing in real estate, in the stock market, I don't care what it is. Half effort gets half of the results or no results at all. But here's the thing that really woke me up. I realized that the playbook was never designed to make us wealthy. A job is a single income stream, one, tied to your time, trading hours for dollars. You stop showing up and you stop getting paid. And to me, that doesn't sound like a wealth plan. That sounds like a survival plan. Wealthy people don't do it that way. They have multiple streams of income tied to real assets, assets that pay them whether they show up or not. School never taught us that. School taught us to work for money, but nobody taught us how to make money work for us. So let me give you some real figures. The average W 2 worker earns $60,000 a year for 40 years, and they'll make maybe $2.4 million in their entire career. That sounds like a lot of money, right? Now let's deduct taxes. Let's take out the rent or the mortgage. Let's take out the car note, the insurances, our food, the bills that never stop coming. In over 40 years, what's left is almost nothing for most people. Now compare that to one cash flowing RV park, a 50 site RV park that nets $15,000 a month in cash flow, brings in $180,000 a year. And in just 13 years, that one asset has generated the same $2.4 million. And you still own the park. So you can sell it, you can refinance it, you can pass it down to your heirs. And the W-2 worker has nothing left but a Social Security check and a prayer that everything will be okay. The job was supposed to be the wealth vehicle, but nobody told us that there were much faster ones that required much less of our time that we can never get back. Type rule book in the chat if you followed the plan and still feel like something is missing. I felt that way for many, many years. So trust me, y'all, no shame in it. But when we can recognize where we are and we have awareness to our situations, we can make changes to them right away. Let me pause here and ask you something real. Raise your hand. And I'm serious. I want you to raise your hand right now, wherever you may be. If your parents ever had a chance to sit you down and teach you about assets, about cash flow, about private capital, about how money actually works. I'm guessing most of you have your hands down right now. And that's not our parents' fault. They taught us what they knew. They gave us the best playbook that they had. But tonight, we're learning what they couldn't teach us because they didn't have access to it either. Now let's roll right into myth number 2. Save your way to wealth. And this one gets people heated. Save your money, put it away, be responsible. We've heard this our whole lives. And look, saving is not bad. Let me be clear. Having an emergency fund, being disciplined with money, that matters. But here's what nobody tells us. The average savings account right now earns 0.5% in interest. 0.5%, y'all. You know what inflation is running right now? Between 3 and 4%. So do the math with me. If your money is growing at 0.5% and the cost of everything is going up 3 to 4%, you are losing money by saving it. You are losing money by saving it. You feel like you're being responsible, but your purchasing power is shrinking every single year. That savings account is a slow leak for you. And if you guys have ever been on any of these other sessions, I always tell you to start with plugging your leaks, because that's right now money that you can put back in your pocket. Saving is defense. And you need defense, don't get me wrong. But you cannot play defense the whole game and expect to win. You have to have an offense. And offense is investing. Offense is deploying your capital into assets that generate cash flow. Offense is strategy. Let me show you the difference. Let's say you have $50,000. You put it into a savings account at 0.5% interest. In 10 years, you've earned about $2,500 in interest. $2,500 in 10 years. Meanwhile, inflation has eaten up about 15,000 of your purchasing power. So you actually lost money. You went backwards while feeling like you were being logical and doing the right thing. That is the most crazy part about having money in savings as a blanket, but really it's costing us. Now let's take that same 50,000 and deploy it as a down payment on a rental property or into a real estate deal. You don't even have to actually acquire the property. Let's say that deal cash flows $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year. In 10 years, you've bought in $120,000 in cash flow. Plus, your tenant has been paying down the mortgage for you. Plus, the property has likely appreciated in value. That 50,000 didn't just sit there. It went to work for you. It brought friends back for you. Rich people don't save money. They move money. There's a difference. Saving is parking. Investing is deploying. And the gap between those two things is the gap between being comfortable and being wealthy. I want y'all to be honest in the chat. Are you a saver or an investor right now? No judgment, just awareness. Type saver or investor. And if you're a saver who wants to become an investor, type ready. So I need to see saver, investor, or ready. Is no judgment as to where you are right now. Wherever you are is a starting point. Okay. So let's do a quick poll, guys. How many of you have money sitting in a savings account right now, earning basically nothing? Type me in the chat. And listen, I'm not shaming you. I was that person. I thought saving was the move. And when I didn't have money in my accounts, I was scared because we have had that fear instilled in us that, you have to have X amount to the side, and you should. I'm not saying don't save any money. I'm saying don't save all of your money. I thought I was being smart when saving, but what if I told you there's a way to put that same money to work and generate monthly cash flow from it? Not in 30 years, but now. That's what real wealth building looks like. And that's what we're getting into next, y'all. Myth number 3 is my favorite myth because I can't tell you how many times I've heard it. I love the comments in the chat, guys. I'm so excited for this. Myth number 3: you need money to make money. How many people have heard it takes money to make money? We've heard it in a lot of songs, movies, it's everywhere. But a lot of things that we have been told is really the truth is the opposite of it. This is the one that stops more people than anything else. I don't have the money. I can't afford to invest. I need to save up first. Does that sound familiar? I hear this every single day, and I get it because I felt the same way. When I was trying to figure out real estate, I didn't have a pile of cash sitting around. My parents are very well off, but they weren't rich. I didn't have a trust fund. So I thought I was locked out of the game. I thought investing was for people who already had money. And for that reason, I went and got my real estate license so that I could make some lump sums to invest in real estate and become an investor. Now I know I didn't even have to do that. But here's what I've learned since. The wealthiest people that I know, the ones actually doing deals, building portfolios, creating generational wealth, most of them did not start with money. They started with strategy. They started with knowledge. They started with understanding how deals actually work. Let me break this down for you. There are ways to acquire real estate without going to a bank, without having a perfect credit score, without putting hundreds of thousands of dollars down. The number one way to do this: seller financing. This is where the seller of a property acts as the bank. Instead of going to Chase or Wells Fargo, you negotiate directly with the seller. They carry the note. The seller becomes the bank. You make the payments to them. Why would a seller do this, guys? Tax benefits. They spread out their capital gains. They get steady monthly income, and they don't have to deal with the realtor talking 6% upfront in that commission. I've structured deals where the down payment was 5 to 10%, and the seller was happy to do it because it solved their problem. Number 2, my favorite, private capital, private money. This is other people's money. And before you think I could never ask somebody for money, let me reframe this real quick for y'all. There are people right now, maybe people that you already know, sitting on cash in savings accounts, in IRAs, in 401ks, earning almost nothing. They want better returns, but they don't want to do the work of finding deals, managing properties, handling tenants and toilets. That's where you come in. You bring them the deal. You bring the strategy. They bring the capital. Everyone wins. That's not begging. That's offering an opportunity. And the reason why I'm sharing this with y'all is because this is exactly what I did to get my first deal. So I know that it works. And I've never been to Wall Street. I'm getting money from regular people who were tired of their money sitting still. Number three, subject to. This is where you take over someone's existing mortgage. The deed transfers to you, but the loan stays in the seller's name and you make payments towards their original loan. There is no bank qualification. There is no credit check. You're solving a problem for a seller who needs out. Maybe they're behind on payments. Maybe they're relocating. Maybe they inherited a property that they don't want. You step in, take over the payments, and now you control an asset without having to have a perfect score and go to a bank. You don't need money to make money. You need to know how money works. Those are two very different things. Once you understand deal structure, the money finds you. I promise you that. So let me stop right here, guys. What's been your biggest barrier to investing? Money, knowledge, fear, or time? I want to hear from you because whatever it is, we can work through it. And if you're watching this on Facebook, LinkedIn, or any other platform, I'm only seeing any questions or comments coming from the YouTube channel. So I'm sorry. Next time, jump in on the YouTube live stream and I will be able to see your replies and also answer your questions. So before we go to Q&A, let me give you something. I put together a free guide called the Security Stack. It breaks down the exact steps to protect and grow your wealth. Even if you're starting from zero, like I did, it covers entity structure, insurance, asset protection, estate planning, the stuff that keeps what you build safe while you're building it. The link is in my description below, and I will also make sure to drop it in the comments. Okay, so any questions, let's get to them. I'll be happy to answer anything that you guys have on this live session while I'm dropping the link in this chat. Lamont, shout out to you, brother, for being here. I really appreciate you jumping in. Right now, Lamont and I are putting a contract, the offer on a property. I think I just met Lamont 3 or 4 days ago. That is the power of collaboration and the power of this industry. My uncle, KP, is actually live watching this as well. I want to shout him out. Super excited when family can work together, come together, support one another. That's all love. And anybody else that's watching this stream, shout out to you for already putting yourself first and saying, how can I make a change? How can I start building wealth for me and my family? Because that's what this is all about. Collaboration, guys. Okay. So I don't see any questions in the YouTube chat, but that's not a problem, okay? Because somebody asked me the other day, Jael, what would you tell your younger self about money? And I also want to shout out Kim because I know she's here too. We also have a deal going under contract on Friday, so that's great. But if I could tell my younger self about money, I would tell myself, stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting until you feel ready. Start learning now and take imperfect action because I wasted years thinking that I wasn't ready, thinking that I needed more money, more knowledge, more whatever excuse that we give ourselves to paralyze us in fear. The truth is, we learn by doing. And the best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is right now. That's what I would tell myself, y'all, because I still have moments where fear can stop me, where I'm overthinking things. And we all have this, guys. No matter how far along you see somebody in their career or their journey, they have those doubts, they have that fear. The only difference is they do it anyway. I'm here to tell you, your favorite reality TV person, your favorite singer, your favorite actor, actress, they've all had that same fear that you feel, but they did it anyway. That's the only difference. And when we do it anyway, fear turns into courage. Another question I get a lot is, where do I even start? And my answer is always the same. Start with education. Watch episodes like this. Get engaged. Show up for yourself. Read books. Listen to podcasts. But here's the one thing that you have to do after you start education. Set a deadline. Give yourself 30 days to learn. And then find someone that's doing what you want to do and partner up with them so you can start taking action right away. Because education without execution is just entertainment. And that's a fact. All right, wealth builders, I don't see anything new in the chat. Let's bring it home. Okay, tonight we covered myth number 1. The job was never the plan, it was the starting point. It was supposed to be the launch pad, not the destination. I learned that the hard way. Myth number 2, saving doesn't build wealth. Deploying capital into cash flowing assets does. Your savings account is losing to inflation every single day. Myth number 3, you don't need money to make money. You need strategy. Seller financing, private capital, subject to. The tools are there. And you have people like me and other people joining these Zooms that can help you implement those things. You just need to learn how to use the tools that you have. If you haven't grabbed the security stack guide yet, the link is in the description and I'm going to drop it in the chat one more time right now. Next week, we're going even deeper. I'm breaking down exactly how to start investing with no capital and no credit, step by step. If tonight hit home for you, next week is going to change the game. Subscribe right now. Hit that bell so you get notified. And share this with somebody who needs to hear it. Somebody who's stuck in the same cycle. Somebody who's following the rule book and wondering why it's not working. Send them this video. I'll see you next Wednesday at 7:30. Same place. Keep building.